Hello and welcome to the Dive Bar, where we dive into the games of the week. I am Noah, also known as Bunny Koo, and I am joined again by Tyler, also known as Simino Mas, and Trevor, also known as My Back is Sore. Here we are in week 9, and I don't think there's a whole lot I need to say before we get into it, because it doesn't matter when we're recording, because week 9's over, and it's before the playoffs week, so playoffs upcoming. Really exciting, but let's just get right into it, I guess. So first game of week 9, CR versus PSR. CR winning it in 2 matches, and kind of an interesting game. A bit of a was this one? No, that was a different game. Wait, do I have set order? Maybe I have set order. Whatever. This is the order we're going in now. Because I think there was a different game first, but now we're doing this one first, apparently. So yeah, this one started out a little bit interesting. Game 1, CR went with like a bit of a lane swap at the start, which I was kind of skeptical about. But I'll just let you kind of take it away, Trevor, with your thoughts on kind of the games since your team was in it. How well did the lane swap work against you guys, and what you thought?
Yeah, so this one, we came into it. We'd already secured first seed because we beat both 2 and 1 IQ, the only other teams that were tied with us in record. So we were just saying, hey, we're not going to show any strats, and we're going to have fun. So first game, we decided to go all top laners. And the lane swap worked very well against us. It being a smaller top, she just really couldn't do anything. So I don't even know how many times Dusty died within the first, he slowed it down a lot. But the first 2-3 minutes of the game, he probably died like 2 or 3 times. Not like it was his fault. I mean, he's getting 1v3 under towers of Smolder. So that was unfortunate, but, and I locked in the auto attack speed NAR. Now, if I would have gotten to Ruin and Hurricane, they would have been very, very screwed. But unfortunately, the end of the game, pretty quick. I don't know. Yeah, 21 minutes into the game. So yeah, that's a really quick game nowadays in League of Legends. And then game 2, we tried to do double jungle. First team in the Bear League to maybe ever do it, but especially this season. And we very shortly after got copied by our little brother, ABW, looking up to us. So I really felt cool there. But yeah, just didn't work out. Early game went well, and then yeah, I mean, they just played well. So I'm excited to see this team. They're on our side of the bracket, so next time we play them, clearly be, full force, and it'll be interesting to see how that goes. So
Yeah, it definitely was I don't know, kind of crazy. Game 2 felt like a lot more of a stomp. I didn't really like the double jungle. I didn't think it was gonna work out that amazingly, and I mean having Ivern for it was good, obviously, because it makes it really easy to kind of just roam in there and just take stuff. But yeah, it just, I don't know, I didn't like it. And so yeah, what did you think about I mean, obviously the Corki was a lane swap and it was pretty oppressive against the Smoller, but did you think that it was kind of exceptionally oppressive? It felt I mean, if you look at the damage graphs, it's it's pretty intensely sided towards Corki. It feels like Corki was pretty strong this patch.
Yeah, I mean, it looked strong. That was the first time we played against it. But yeah, I mean, it looked really strong in it. But I mean, like I said, I don't think this is the greatest test run of Corki. I mean, I've saw it in other series and it did look strong there as well. But yeah, they put the Corki in a great situation to get super far ahead super early. And then when a champion has 10 kills at 15 minutes, it is hard to kill that champion. So yeah.
I don't know. I just have a question for Trevor. What were the thoughts behind Sergeant Mithra going full AP Misfortune whenever you already had a Vigar and yourself as Nidalee?
We don't even talk about builds. I mean, we don't even have items on our team. But hey, that's how you become first seed. And yeah, we really don't talk about builds ever. I think we're all just kind of doing whatever, and yeah, so that's kind of where that lies. But yeah, looking back at it, he definitely probably would have been better for him to go AD.
Yeah, I don't know how I didn't even notice that, but yeah, that's an interesting one.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, in game 2, Karras, the mid laner for CR, he played, really, really well. 18, 0, and 14.
15. Wild.
That's a darn good performance, even if PSR isn't like at their peak. If you can go deathless in a game against the number 1 seed, like that's quite impressive.
They played well. They played very well. It looked good.
And I mean, Trevor was also on one of his most favorite champions, in the Italy. So I don't know. They took advantage of him somehow. I didn't watch the series, but 13 deaths. It feels like the Trevor of old. Early on in the season, probably a couple early deaths just to teleport, get to his camps a little bit faster.
That's right. Get it all out before playoffs.
Yeah, I think I had that in my notes actually about like the lane swap. I was like, because I like wrote this down like while the game was happening. I was like, a lane swap against a team with 5 TPs. Does it work? And apparently it does. I just figured like a lane swap could be sort of like out macroed or outdone, but I don't know. I guess I don't know. Mix of Smolder, mix of Corky, mix of lane swap kind of threw things off probably.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that. They could have easily just lane swapped back with teleporting down and teleporting top lane.
True, we did talk about that. Never happened though.
Didn't happen though.
Oh well. Well, with that, going back, sort of, slightly backwards. 2 versus 1 IQ. 2-1 in 2 matches. And I think this was the first Corky game of this patch, maybe. And yeah, in game 1 it did crazily well. In game 2, it didn't do like as well in the overall game, but in lane it was like extremely oppressive. Awesomenator was definitely performing like really well in the Corky in those games.
Yeah, I mean, it looked strong, and 2 looked strong again, and I mean, yeah, they beat supposedly the other, top 3 teams. So, and it looked like it was pretty easy in both games, under 30 minutes, which is, I would say, like a good, like if you're confidently winning, then winning before 30 minutes that's a pretty good win. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think that they found similar ways to beat 1 IQ like we did. You just don't let Rachel get 15 kills in 10 minutes, and you should be good.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to tell, even if you are just watching the game, like whether 1 IQ, they're like, all right, we're going to be playing them in round 2 of the playoffs. Do we want to really do our best against them, show them everything that we've got, kind of like Trevor was saying with his team, like they're not going to reveal everything. So if you're going to play against a possible opponent like in 2 more weeks, why would you want to share or show them like some of your abilities and what you're capable of? You can just pack it in, feel confident in yourself that you're going to win round 1 of playoffs, and then just completely blindside this team as well. But I mean, 2, they did exactly what they were supposed to do. They banned the best champion in the game, Swain. They really didn't want Richie to be playing that. And then they banned that one guy, one of the Wynn brothers, Yon. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I might be eating my words pretty soon about the Swain thing, because like his win rate last patch was like 46 or lower, and then like this patch, I don't know, the buffs to me seemed like nothing, and then his win rate shot up to like almost 50 or maybe higher. So maybe it is actually good, or maybe I'm just trying to trick teams into picking a bad champion. Who knows? But
who knows? I don't know. I mean, I think his E cast, like just the speed at which it comes back, makes it much more difficult to dodge. When which is pretty nice buff for him. And then being able to just keep his ult on forever is also really nice. I mean, he already could do that, but the fact that he can proc Demon Flare multiple times, and then the cooldown starts as soon as he uses his ult, so it can be up the second that, you know, his ult initially ends, which is pretty sweet.
Yeah, the recast Demon Flare is pretty neat, but it's like a pretty long cooldown. It's like 8 seconds or something.
It is 8.
Yeah, because I remember I was like watching, I think you play it in a match, and I was just like, is he not like using the recast? Does he not know it's there? But I didn't realize it was like 8 seconds. I feel like I was never seeing you use it, but yeah, it's like really long.
It's a long one where like it is nice that you can recast it, but most team fights aren't going to go 16 seconds or so. So you can really only cast it maybe twice at most.
Yeah. Also, I don't think this is the first time that Tumor has done this, but I do like how, you know, like Slamrite Jack is kind of a little notorious for the Morgana, and I like that they are like willing to kind of like take the Morganas to like flex it around, kind of, because this also means you can kind of use it as like a bait. Like you lock in the Morgana, and then you're kind of like, yep, this is totally our mid laner, and then, you know, the enemy team's not going to worry about banning mids, and so then it leaves you a bit more free and open to pick some other things.
Yep, that's a great pick for him, especially if they're able to flex it, like you said. Makes it very difficult. And I mean, that's a great angle. I don't know what the pick order was, but Morgana into a Seraphine Poppy lane seems pretty OP. So I like that pick a lot.
Yeah, like I said, even though the damage doesn't show Awesomenator and L popping off that game, like in lane, they were like really strong. They were really doing a lot, especially Awesomenator. But I guess we can move on to the next game now. Getting back into order now, finally. RAWR versus LS. RAWR winning in 2 matches. And in this one, I don't remember what was happening. For my notes, I just wrote game 2, we going down, we yelling timber. I don't know what fully happened at the game 2.
What?
I don't know.
I'm assuming that's just LS's playoff hopes.
Maybe.
They were just going down the drain right there. Courtesy of Mui. Like game 1, Mui on that Yasuo. He did start off pretty slow. I'm pretty sure Blue Metal got like first blood onto him. But that Yasuo, he just like ramped up throughout the entire game. He roamed exactly whenever his team needed him to, and he just made it so Jubilee and Bucci weren't able to play bot lane. And this is the player that I thought he was going to be. Whenever I was like, hey guys, we scrimmed them, like, he's pretty good. And he really didn't do all that much in the league until this past week. So, I don't know, he did really well in both games. I didn't watch much of game 2, but seeing the stat line, like, he crushed it. Even in a difficult matchup against LeBlanc, he still did really well. So, congrats on RAWR knocking a team out of the playoffs and, you know, showing everyone that they belong.
Yeah, Mui definitely showed that they were pretty good. I remember maybe it was week 8 or week 7. Did they play in week 7? I don't remember.
I can check real quick.
I guess actually.
They played against
they played
CR
week
that
6.
week.
Okay. I just can't remember when they started playing, but yeah, like Mui always seems like they were pretty good, but just didn't really find amazing success in their matches. But like this week, definitely showed off. Had 2 very good games, very good performances.
Yeah, they look really, really good. I mean, seems like everyone's contributing on their team. I mean, Mui clearly is KDA-wise looking like the best, but I think everyone is playing a role, so that'll be an interesting team to watch.
Yeah, for sure. But with that, I'm going to kind of speed along here to BW versus HH. BW winning in 2 matches, a very long game 1. Yeah, I think that Lord Wrath kind of went kind of crazy in this series. I think that was like a large part of BW's win was Lord Wrath's performance.
Yeah, he was putting out a lot of damage in between the 2 games. Over 100,000 damage. That's quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean his Urgot, Lord Wrath's Urgot is really strong. I remember we played them pretty early on in the season, and he absolutely dismantled us with it. And that's why we try and ban it against him. But looks like HH didn't get that memo, and he did have like almost 61,000 damage in game 1, but that was also a 52-minute game against a Mundo. So if you don't have that much damage, like you're not really doing your job. But I don't know. I just thought it was interesting. I really like Waps picking Smolder into Malzahar. We all know like that's just free stacks for the Smolder passive, which really helped that out.
One who brought that tech out first. PSR makes the meta. Just putting that out there. Weird.
Yep. No one else knew about that before you guys showed us.
Good pick. But I think we did it against HH, so I think they actually already knew before the game ever started. So I don't know.
They didn't
I didn't watch the game. So, I mean, how it worked in our series is we picked it the first game. Blitz, I think it was against Blitz. He didn't realize what was going on, so the Smolder got really strong. And in game 2, picked it again, expecting him not to understand again, but he figured it out. So I would assume if it was HH that I'm remembering right, that I would assume that Blitz probably didn't allow him to actually use it how he wanted, or how Wops was trying to use it.
It wasn't HH.
Oh, rip. All right.
I'm trying to look back and find the game, and I can't find it.
Maybe it was against BW. Yeah.
B? Okay.
Oh, no? Yeah, it was against BW. So actually,
the one you lost.
Bro, they're literally stealing our stat. Bro. Okay, so first of all, we do double jungle, and then just a couple of games later, a BW steals our strat, and then we do this strat against BW, and now we see it this week, BW trying to do it to someone else. Wild.
Hey, the whole point of Beer League is adapting to the meta, and if PSR is going to set the meta, you have to adapt with them.
That's right.
Trying
we don't
to
see double
copycat
jungle
league
from every single team in the first round of the playoffs. Something's going up.
All right. Well, I'm going to hop ahead to KGB versus ABW, the final game of week 9. I guess my site might be a little bit broken. It just says 1 in 3 matches. I don't know who won.
Yep. ABW.
Okay, ABW won.
Yeah.
Talk about it. Let's see what happened.
All right. So game 1 draft, it was pretty spicy. We saw Kane, we saw Ezra, we saw Yasuo. So I forget what Pyro said. He's like, hey, like you could play, I don't know, some really bad champion. So I was like, I could play a Kali too. He's like, all right, you can try that. And then, so I lock that in, and then all of a sudden we see a Galio get locked in. I'm like, crap, that matchup's going to really stink for me. And then we see a Nunu locked in, and we're like, where is this going? Some people thought it would be Kane top, but I was like, no, like, it's going to be Kane in the jungle. I thought it might honestly be a Nunu mid, just going Dark Harvest and just snowballing the entire map. I thought that'd be pretty cool to see in the Beer League. But we were able to, kind of slow the roll on that, even though ABW did get some pretty early first bloods in this game. Eddie getting caught out at ABW's blue buff, and then again his own red buff. He was pretty late to start the game. But Akali, myself, Pyro on Xerath, just able to really shut down Mpex, their secondary jungler. and make it really difficult for him to play the game. And that just allowed Pat Jones to do what Pat Jones does, just split push and win the game, which is what he did. Game 2, I locked in that really good champion that Bunnyku loves, Swain, into Cassiopeia. I didn't realize that the matchup is like 45% win rate for Swain, so that might have been bad on me. But we had some pretty good plays. We did swap Pyro over into jungle role. We made it really annoying for Really Bad Zed to play mid lane. I think Pyro got plenty of ganks off. But that one champion, Kog'Maw, he is really strong right now. And it's one of Empex's like main champs as an ADC, so he just tore us a new one throughout that whole match. And then game number 3 is a little bit closer to start. There's fun matchups like with Really Bad Zed. He is a mid laner that's not going to be playing, like control mages. So I think this whole series we kind of just got to have fun and like actually play mid how it was meant to be played, with dueling and battling the entire time. Pyro, he just couldn't get going this game, unfortunately. Like, I think I accidentally took 2 kills pretty early on, so Pyro didn't get the normal gold amount that he would have. And we lost this series because Pyro did not lead our team in damage. Somehow I outdamaged him throughout the whole series, and that is why I should not be worth 3 points, because even if I do the most damage in 3 straight games, 3 total games, then we're not going to win. So,
great explanation.
If you're on the rating committee next year, 2-pointer over here.
Heard it here first. Yeah, I mean, I think that I didn't watch the first game, but I did watch the second and third game. And honestly, I mean, the second game, just a draft diff. I mean, Renata put in freaking work. It was wild, like how effective that champion was. Clearly, Impex had a good game, but I think Really Bad Zed had an even better one. As like Tyler said, he got ganked like 4 or 5 times and died 4 or 5 times in the beginning of the game, and just still came back, solo killed Tyler and many of the other people on KGB, and was just a menace. And then Tyler Juan, their sub, had a really great game as well. So that was just a great team effort, game 2. And then game 3, Really Bad Zed just took over, bro. He was saucing on some of these plays. I mean, it was wild. He just had a really good game. So it'll be interesting to see if they keep him in the mid lane or not.
Yeah, I had some notes on each game. I felt like in like game 1 with the double jungle, again, Nunu is a good one to pick for double jungle, as well as Ivern. Both have like abilities that allow them to be pretty crazy at just quick clearing and getting out of there. I feel like what could have worked is actually putting Nunu mid and just like trying to like clear the wave, and then just like leave and invade with your jungler and clear an entire side, or clear an entire quadrant, maybe kill the jungler in the process, and then just get out. I feel like that could have worked really well, and also then Nunu could just like gank top, gank bot if invades aren't working for them, or if they need more to do. So I feel like throwing Nunu mid could have made that double jungle kind of thing work, but who knows, maybe double jungle just doesn't work. But then game 2, I in my notes it just says why Swain. And then game 3, why Yone, parentheses no ban, why no Yone ban. No, I don't really blame the no Yone ban, but Yone, man, he is, every time he's picked, he's such a menace.
Yeah, I don't know. Game 2, I was like, I can't pick Akali into Cassiopeia because she's just going to throw down her W, and then I'm kind of screwed.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yone, he is strong, but Really Bad Zed also isn't Richie, but Yone is still Yone 90% of the time, unless you're me. So he did pop off. He did get a bunch of ganks from JWM. Like, I haven't seen a Blitzcrank roam mid that many times in a while. So that was fun to deal with, but I mean, I understand he needed a little bit of a camp, so it happens. I mean, he's used to having Trevor camp him, and I guess he doesn't have Trevor this season, so relied on JWM.
Right, and that's why he's not making it to the finals. Straight up.
All right. Well, speaking of finals, a minor pit stop before the finals, I guess. We don't have to talk that much about this match. I mean, I guess we can, but tiebreaker 1, KGB versus BW. KGB did win it in 2 matches, and then just went, yeah, we don't even need playoffs. We're just too good. Dropping out.
Yeah. I mean, I just wanted to go 2-0 on a quali this season. So I accomplished that goal. I went deathless in game number 1. Game number 2, we wanted to win, but we were going to be okay if we didn't, because we were also going to show off duo jungle. If we did lose game number 2 and like show PSR and ABW like actually how to use that tech. Fortunately, we won before then. And then we had to drop out just because player availability, and we kind of didn't want to be jerks to the league to where we knock out the number 2 seed and then say, sorry guys, we're now going to drop out. We didn't think that'd be very fair, and I know Slamurai would be pretty upset if we did that. So yeah, it was a fun season, but this way we are one of only 2 teams to end the season with a victory. So that's, that's what we're going for.
Crazy how we're both on this podcast too.
Yeah.
KGB and PSR. Wild.
Weird.
Podcast buff.
Okay, well, with that, that's going to be all the games for the week. And so now we're going to go off into Player of the Week. I almost went right over that. Player of the Week. I'll just jump right into it. My nomination is Mui.
Second that.
Mine is going to be really bad Zed. Not because he's my friend, but because I do think he played a really good series when they needed it. If they lost that, they would have been out of the playoffs. And I think to keep your mental, and after you've been ganked 6 times by Pyro and then go on to just hard carry the last game, that's pretty impressive. But I mean, Mui played a great series as well, but I think that was more impressive to me.
Yeah,
really bad Zed, no doubt, did pretty good.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I thought he did really well. Game 1, I believe he had a 2-0 lead on me, though. And he really wasn't able to make too much happen with it. He did make some nice plays. But he had a Galio knockup coming in, Red Cane, because, I don't know, apparently people played Red Cane in Beer League for a knockup there, as well as the new Snowball. But he just wasn't really making too much happen to help his team succeed. And then in game 2, like Buniku said earlier, like JWM, or no, Trevor, you said this, JWM on the Renata Glask, like absolutely terrorizing us.
Crazy. How do people not
2-1 and 30 coming in from your support. Like that's ridiculous. Keeping MPEX alive so many times, probably keeping really bad Zed alive as well.
Yeah, a little over 75% kill participation.
Yeah. And then game 2, JWM, 2-1 and 19, like all around the map, making sure that really bad Zed can get some of those kills in the mid lane by forcing Ari ult out of me. And
so we got a JWM honorable mention.
Honorable mention, yeah. But I think just Mui, he absolutely took over the entire series. He only needed 2 games. He didn't need to go to 3 just to buff his stats by playing Yone. So I think that's why I was going to go with Mui. But I do see the really bad Zed.
Yeah, part of the why I was leaning towards Mui is because there were like previous weeks where I was like, man, I almost want to give Mui Player of the Week this week, but they just like didn't quite perform too well. So having a week where they finally were able to perform really well made me sort of lean towards it, because they've always been looking really good, but just never quite good enough, or there's somebody else was just doing better. So that's sort of what made me lean towards Mui as well. But I mean, obviously, AWM was looking pretty good. Honorable mention for sure on that. And really bad Zed also, I don't know. They did well, but I don't know. It wasn't like too much crazier better than everybody else for me. But I guess with that, we can kind of say Mui Player of the Week. Congratulations. But here's now the big award. Moving forward into something that Trevor wanted to do, and I really like, Rookie of the Season. So, I mean, I'll just jump. So a few rookies this season. A lot of them actually doing really well. So it was kind of like a tiny bit difficult for me to choose, but in the end, I went with Eric. Eric 29. He did really, really well on ADC. His games were always crazy good. I think I almost considered him for Player of the Week this week as well, but put it aside because I was like, yeah, he's gonna be the rookie of the season for me. So what are your guys' picks and thoughts?
I also had Eric 29. I don't know if anyone could pick anybody else. Like, he was number 2 in damage per game. He was number 2 in total kills, I believe, as well throughout the whole season. He just did exactly what he was supposed to do. And I think without him, CR isn't going to be where they are. They might not have made to playoffs at all. So I think he did a great job of carrying that team and making sure, that they are to be at least a little bit afraid of coming to playoffs. If you can't stop Eric from popping off, then good luck, because your ADC and support are going to have a few marks in the death column.
Yep, I would third that opinion. I mean, there are other good rookies. I think like Brain Crane and Wops played good. Blitzsprite played well. Mui, from what we've seen so far, has played well. But I mean, no other person has like just solo carried their entire team. So yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Brain Crane was probably my number 2, and Brain Crane actually was week 6 Player of the Week, or technically week 5, 6, however this works. But yeah, and then Eric was also like a runner-up one of the weeks. So yeah, both of them were really good. I know Trash Can, I've said before, I think I've given like an honorable mention on a Player of the Week before. They were really good. I've talked about Shaco and Storm, both in the early weeks. They were like looking like really dominant, really oppressive.
Rip.
Oh right, yeah, that roster is.
They were looking good though.
Yeah, I forgot that roster got like reassembled. But
destroyed.
Yeah, and then Blitzsprite was also looking good. Jimmy Jankus was looking really good. Like every single rookie here was like doing pretty well. So it was like a little hard, but it was like definitely for me just between like Eric and Brain Crane, and then I had to lean more towards Eric because I think he just has been more consistent. There were games where I've said this before where Brain Crane just like, I don't know, it was kind of a similar situation to Mui where they were like looking good and they wanted to perform, but they just like couldn't quite find that in their games. So that's why I kind of lean more towards Eric for that.
Yeah.
But also on CR alone, like all of those rookies were really good. So very exciting.
Agreed.
Yeah.
But yeah, congratulations, Eric. Kind of unanimous decision there, basically. So rookie of the season, Eric. And now we can go into just talking about the future upcoming matches and our playoff predictions. So we have upcoming PSR versus HH, CR versus ABW, 2 versus BW, and 1IQ versus RAWR. I believe I have all those right. And honestly, a lot of good matches, a lot of exciting matches. What are your guys's? Well, actually, maybe I'll lead this off. In terms of who I predict to win. Obviously, I can't not say PSR, or else Trevor will like come find me after the podcast. So I gotta say,
PSR. Hey, we like the haters.
I like HH, but PSR is just, it's always dominant. But you never know when PSR is just going to randomly drop a game. So
That's actually fair. That's valid.
it's been happening randomly lately, so you never know. Actually, it's honestly HH could win it, but I think PSR will win it. And then CR versus ABW, I'm leaning towards CR because I think that all their players have just been really good, and I'm an Eric fan now, so I'm rooting for CR. And then for 2 versus BW, I think 2 has been looking pretty decent. I don't think BW has been looking fantastic. So I'm leaning towards 2 on that. And then 1IQ versus RAWR, I gotta go 1IQ because somehow Richie's just gonna mind control them and let him have Yo in every match, and he's just gonna win. So that's what I think for the first week of playoffs.
I'm the exact same. I think the first series between PSR and HH will be a 2-0 in PSR's favor. I think CR against ABW, CR should be able to take that one. It should be a 2-0, but I think ABW, they're going to try and throw in some sneaky draft stuff, possibly make it a 2-1. 2 should win 2-0. I'm trying to remember what 1IQ did against RAWR earlier in the season. I believe it was 2-0. That was 3 games. So I don't know. I think 1IQ understands that RAWR is going to win through Mui if they're going to win it all. So I don't know. I think it could be another 2-0. So I think the best series to watch would be CR against ABW, and then follow that up with 1IQ versus RAWR. But I think 1IQ is going to take it.
Yeah, I mean, I have similar thoughts. I think there's 2 just easy 2-0s. I think it's going to be PSR versus HH, and then 2 versus BW. I'm not really concerned about either of those series. But honestly, both of the other series, I could see going either way. I could see 1IQ dropping it. 1IQ's built the exact same way as RAWR. They just play through their mid laner. So a lot of the whole series is going to be dependent on that. I mean, neither of these teams win when their mid laner is down. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. I would predict that 1IQ would win this one, even despite what I just said. So I would say 2-1 on that, 2-0 on 2 versus BW, 2-0 on PSR versus HH, and then CR versus ABW, also another one where I feel like it could go either way. And I think it depends on where Really Bad Zed is. I mean, he's definitely better at mid lane. He would say that himself. And I mean, I think it's pretty apparent. And he's been going mid lane because Bromstein hasn't been there. So I would say if he goes mid lane, they're going to win 2-1. If they don't, CR is going to win 2-0. So I'll go with that. Bromstein's not going to make it, and ABW is going to get a 2-1 victory.
Yeah, well, that's definitely one of the games that I feel is a bit more up in the air. So it's kind of fair. And yeah, I don't know. I still just have faith in Eric and also the other rookies on the team, Chicas and Hernandez was their support, right?
Hernandez, yep, it's for support or top.
Yeah, so that's I think they're looking pretty good. But we can move into more of a tentative look at the future weeks. So the semifinals victories. I guess it's more so just picking who you think. Yeah, I mean, I guess we could just kind of, instead of trying to figure out who's gonna be in the games and who's gonna win what games, I guess we can kind of just, at this point, since it's just semifinals and finals, after the quarterfinals winners, we can kind of just say who we think are going to be in the finals and who we think are going to win the finals. So I think the finals is going to be PSR versus 1IQ, which would be exciting. And I have that I think 1IQ is going to win it, because when we had Richie on, he talked a lot of game and it really convinced me.
Just talked, doesn't play.
So wait, Bunnyku, what is your prediction, like series-wise in best of 5? Like, how many games is this one going to go?
Oh, how many PS servers want to keep? I don't know. I hope it's 5 games. I think it's going to probably be, if I had to guess, 3-1 for 1IQ, maybe. Or maybe 3-2. I don't know. It's hard. But I think I'm going to go with 3-1 1IQ. Because Richie's really convinced me. He's got me on his side.
Got tricked by his good looks. It's all right. It happens to us.
So what are your guys' thoughts on who is going to be in the finals and who wins the finals?
Well, I don't have thoughts. I just have facts. And this is what's going to play out. So ABW is going to win. We're going to go against ABW. I'm going to take down Impex and Early Bed Zed, which was with both of them were on my team last season when we won the finals. That's going to be a 2-0. And then 2 versus 1IQ. I think they're both kind of similar teams, like almost like too similar. Like they're both really like, they both win through mid lane, but they're both super just balanced teams. I think like all 5 players play a role, which you can't say for every single team. Not to say like some players are useless or anything, but there are just more teams. There's teams that just play better around all 5 players. And I think both these teams do it well. I think Awesomenator has played really well, but I don't think it's going to be enough. So 1IQ is going to take that one 2-1, and then PSR is going to 3-0 1IQ in the finals.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it. Just like the both of you, I have PSR against 1IQ in the finals. Unlike both of you, though, I think that there's just going to be a patch and the games just won't be able to get played because for some reason, so no one's ever going to know what happens. No. It has happened before. And the game just gets delayed and delayed. So we'll have to see. I don't know. This is a tough call for me. I do think, like, obviously they're both top 3 teams in the league. They do have different play styles. Like, PSRs, obviously, we're going to split push on you. We're going to have a very safe bot lane. You know, we're not going to put them in any trouble. We're going to lock in Sivir, Misfortune, just clear the wave, run back to our turret, and then hope that Trevor is going to do something around the map to kind of make us feel a little bit better about ourselves. I think Trevor's also going to be playing more of his junglers and not so much of the Shen jungle, Gnar jungle. Definitely don't recommend Kled jungle because attacking jungle camps doesn't, remount you. Just a little advice if you didn't know that. So I don't know. Trevor will be on one of his champs. I'm not sure what top lane is going to look like between Sleepy Panda, aka you just got slapped. But I don't know. It's going to be a good matchup. I think it's going to go 3-1 just because history tells us very few beer league matches go, the full distance to the best of 5. So I'm going to go 3-1 to 1IQ. I think PSR is going to ban Yone. And Richie, he has, Seraphine mid. We haven't seen it this season, but it is one of his pocket picks, and I don't think that Trevor's going to know what to do whenever Richie's just sitting there and not fighting and just doing nothing. I think it's really just going to throw Trevor off, and he's going to forget a few things. So I'm going to say 1IQ takes the championship 3-1.
Well, to give you some hope, everyone that wants a 5-game series, there has been in the history of Beer League 3 finals that have went the distance of 5 games. And there has been 4 that have went 3-1. So there are more 3-1s, but there is quite a bit of 5-game going the distance.
Yeah, I was part of one of those 5-game series. Ends very late. So if you're casting, I really hope that we can start a little bit earlier, but it happens. It'll be fun.
Yeah, I do hope it's 5 games. I'm really excited for PSR versus 1IQ. I think that'll be really, really fun series to watch. Or cast.
Yep, me too. Playing it's more fun. Makes it more intense.
But you just have to not randomly drop a series to HH on R. So we'll see. Maybe PSR won't even be there.
But like you said, you never know. I mean, we could drop a game or series to anyone, which just speaks volumes to the league this year. I think everyone's really even. I mean, I joke a lot on here, like that PSR is so good, but I mean, I think all the teams are really good. So I could really. I mean, it's gonna be a fun playoffs. Like I said, I mean, I can see a lot of these series going either way. So it'll be interesting to see how this pans out.
I'm more excited for these playoffs than I was for Worlds quarterfinals.
Yeah, Worlds is.
Worlds was like, I watched.
The finals was great though.
The finals was good, but like I watched T1 beat Gen G, and I was like, yeah, T1's just gonna win Worlds. I kind of felt like whoever won the T1 versus Gen G series was just gonna like win the rest of it. I wasn't totally correct because it was pretty close last series, but
yeah, it's like are they even potentially sponsored by a beer company? It's just like I don't know. They don't have a lot going for them.
They're not as good as us, and not nearly as entertaining.
Sure.
But yeah, that'll wrap it up for this week. I forgot to say it earlier, so I'll say it now. Thank you, Trevor, for the Beer League archives that we were able to look at for determining rookie of the season.
Absolutely.
And also, the Beer League stats site got a big update. A lot more player stats now, thanks to Vermilion. They put in a lot of work. Core stats, carry stats, objective utility, fun stats, and somehow Curbs has 127 fist bumps. So, don't know how they manage that. I don't know if they're just spamming the button all the time. Nobody else is even close, so I'm pretty sure most of those fist bumps just unfortunately go into the void completely unanswered. So hopefully he can get some more fist bumps. But as always, thank you for watching. Thank you for being a part of the Beer League. Thank you for participating. Was there anything you guys had to say before I finish up?
No. See ya. See you whenever we see ya.
All right, cool. That'll be it. We will be back after all the quarterfinals games, so it'll be, I don't know, whenever. Maybe Monday, maybe Sunday, maybe not this upcoming Monday, but the just depends on how games get scheduled. But we'll see you then. But until then, have a good week.